All right, welcome everybody. We are here for some Marvel rivals. We got Brazosport once again rooting against what was it, Crowder College. So it's gonna
Yes.
be a fun matchup. I'm with joined with Phoenix Gamer. What up, my man?
Hello. Hi. Yeah, we've got
Uh,
the NJCAAE Marvel Rivals playoffs. This is the first playoff match that BC College will be in for Rivals. Ends against Crowder College. This should be a fun one to see how this goes. I'm excited.
I am as well. I'm Mr. Leapfrog. If you guys don't know me already, I was down there at the Legends Fest tournament. Got to commentate a couple different titles along with Marvel Rivals. Not my forte, but it's one of those things that's growing on me a little bit. When Phoenix asked me to jump on, I was like, you know what? I always gotta commentate when my boy Bone Daddy's on the screen.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we'll. All right. So it looks like the game is about to start. So we'll get right into it.
All right, let's get it going, man. Have you played the Rivals in a while? Because I know you're mainly on the Overwatch roster.
Yeah, I play Rivals a little bit, not all too much. I'm technically actually a sub for this team on paper, although I haven't played subbing for them in quite a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say you mainly take care of production work, and I've seen you on stage down at Legends Fest. So that was a lot of fun to see you compete.
Oh, it's
But we get to see your camaraderie go up again here for our first map. So
oh
what's
yeah.
that? First to two or first to three?
First to three, I believe.
Cool.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting comp lineup right here from both teams. You see the 2-2-2 very brawly comp out of Crowder right off the bat. BC Gators copying all the 2 DPS, 2 support, 2 tanks.
Yeah, very traditional composition. I think we're going to see that a lot throughout the entire series tonight. And you can see Royal try to step out just for a minute, but immediately getting punished by the Punisher. You see Hulk trying to do what the Thing could not. And you know what? He gets exiled for the time being, but still wind up not going to be able to fall in this fight.
It's going to be interesting, especially looking at the enemy team. We have White Fox, who just got added to the game very recently and hasn't even been allowed in any of the tournaments up until, I believe, today or the last week or so. So it's going to be interesting to see how BC Gators plays against and plays into that new character, if they've learned and practiced against her or not.
Yeah, so far, I mean, no success. And yeah, you know, just when you were talking about it, they immediately swap off. So thank you for that, Phoenix. You know, we hashtag blame Phoenix for that one. But it's okay because we got Jeff instead coming up for Murphy. But so far, just trying to make some space with the Thing. You got to be careful, man. As you try to take some space, you get stunned while you're deep in the backline. Can really be tough. Storm going straight to the backline, putting everybody in the sky. Everybody gets super low. Luckily,
that was a rough ult from Storm. Did not even look at the Rocket Raccoon ult that countered Storm's alarms entirely. They're up in the windowsill.
Once again, Bone Daddy getting another pick. It's tough. It's one of those things, like, I mean, all the while you're trying to engage that front line, trying to get rid of this beefy Magneto. You've got Punisher just sitting up top, either with the turret or just, you know, just raw dogging on the floor.
Exactly. Both Emma Frost and the Magneto both in the front are very terrifying to deal with.
Wow.
Ooh.
Big pick. We're gonna go for a Magneto ult. Jeff barely surviving. I don't know how he wanted to survive in that one, but gonna get away with murder there. Bone Daddy gonna get rezzed up, still in the fight, but Cold Ramen unfortunately not gonna survive for too much longer. He's got 2 people beating him down, but luckily he still survives, pushes him back. Actually, Mr. Fantastic forced to run away. He does get a pick on the way out, but you know, I don't think he's gonna survive for too much longer. Yeah, you just see him swiping him down, and despite, you know, how many picks Crowder actually got there, Brazosport was able to kind of persevere and turn things around.
It only took them 3 ults as well. But even with that, the Crowder dropped 2 ults too. So it's very similar ult count. So it's really impressed BC's able to stick through that fight and survive. They definitely helped that I think 2 or 3 of their team went chasing after Ramen and kind of forgot about the team fight going on payload.
That's what you kind of need to do. You got to just match the amount of ultimates that you use during these fights. All the while, you're still holding up the payload. And right now, it's not moving anywhere at the moment. Only 55 meters to Crowder's name. And now they're still kind of pent up. Cold Ramen does fall, but I think he might have res here in a minute. We're still going to pop the Rocket Raccoon ult. Still think this is winnable. We lose Bone Daddy, so we lose a big bulk of our damage. Storm ult being utilized on the Rocket Raccoon ult as well, just trying to dispose of it, get rid of it. We can see finally starting to get some payload progress.
And that looks like that'll probably be the fight there, although they did bring it almost the entire 4-minute time. Beast Gators might still be able to get touch here. It looks like Ramen switching to the Doctor Strange to get that portal in. And there's
very
the
last second. Oh no, they wind up C9 in the point. They barely got into it. But unfortunately, they've already capped the point. So now Crowder, this is just free ult charge for them. They do not mind this at all.
Hate to see it. But even so, even with the time is already burnt down, it's still 2.5 minutes for this entire middle section here. And the Mr. Fantastic sent it off from the rest of the team.
Yeah, now it's, again, it's just a matter of just cleaning up the fight, and you know, the more that the Brazosport just keep milking this fight out, it's actually beneficial to Crowder, because at the same time, I mean, all the while this payload is still chugging along. They're still getting free ult charge out of this. Bowser, you know, trying to find some options with the Winter Soldier, hasn't found much success yet, but Cold Ramen's still willing to stay on the Doctor Strange. I figured, I mean, he's already at 95%, might as well go for an ultimate. I feel like it's really strong against the Thing's committal playstyle.
Oh, yeah, especially against the enemy team right now playing with... Actually, I guess they did switch to some of their tanks, so it's still rather close range brawl from Crowder.
Oh, goes for the Eyes of Agamotto. Not going to be able to find a whole lot, but you're still going to commit the Bone Daddy Punisher ultimate. Just trying to chop people down, but Luna keeping people nice and healthy. Storm combos up with Murphy once again. Oh, he barely gets in the turret in time. Is able to actually survive that eating, but I don't think the rest of his team is so lucky.
No, definitely that Jeff ult kind of was the end for BC Gators in that fight there. Being able to pull away all their healers, all their supports right before the fight even began.
And you know what? Now that the second payload or second objective has been captured for Crowder, I'm wondering if we're going to see some sort of swaps from Brazosport, because again, they've been kind of being pushed back and they have not slowed down at all, snowballing this payload. And honestly, you know, this little change right here might be enough to be able to help, you know, circumvent this payload going in.
So as a fan of Phoenix myself in this game, she's really good against characters like the Thing in the situation, because the Thing is just a barn door sized target to build sparks off of.
Okay, Eyes of Agamotto coming out, only stunning one person. And Jellyfish actually falling there. Not too shabby, don't blame that at all. But again, now I think we're finally going to be able to stop this payload from chugging along. We pop Sia, we also pop the Winter Soldier ult as well. Trying to make sure we clean up the last bit of fight. And that's going to be a clean fight win for Brazosport. Finally, after 2 clean captures from Crowder.
Like to see it right now. BC Gators pretty much even on the ult count for both sides. But BC Gators only got about 1:30 left they have to burn through on the clock. So we'll see what
Bowser goes to spawn, actually swaps to Wolverine. Sorry, Duels, but it's kind of you know, one of those things. They want to combat this thing. I don't think they want to just let these things, both of these Vanguards just kind of pummel away at their front line. And you can see this is a good start. Bone Daddy initiating the fight with a pick of their own, forcing them just completely back to their spawn door. Big ultimate to try to make as much space as possible. Oh man, just running up a straight line. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them.
I mean, they pushed them far off the payload and burned another 30 seconds of time, so I just need to do 2 more plays like that. Although BC Gators is now down on the ult fight, they're getting close on a few.
They got the same strategy they won several times before. They got the Jeff Storm combo, so unless they have anything to kind of circumvent, this has got to be big. Bone Daddy, just try to find anything with the Phoenix. Magneto going off at the same time, simultaneously sees Storm pop her ultimate, pushes her back immediately. Parker not be able to find any success with it, so now it's just Murphy all on his lonesome with his ultimate. We got Luna Snow as well, and we're going to pop Mr. Fantastic, just trying to make some space, find an opening, but unfortunately, we have Cloak and Dagger ult on the objective, so nobody's going to wind up falling right here. You have to stay off this payload with the final 10 seconds happening. It's all up to Murphy to make some magic with this ultimate.
Ooh.
I don't think he gets a whole lot. Yeah, and with Bowser getting full charge on the Wolverine, I mean, just standing anywhere near the payload is just as bad as a Cloak and Dagger ult. Just a death sentence. Chopping them into bits, just cleaning up the last bit of fights, and I love this Wolverine swap coming out from Bowser. I mean, it came out the very last payload, but you know what? Better late than never.
I mean, this last payload area is really beneficial for Wolverine with the close quarters, the high ground he can drop in on. A little bit rougher the rest of the map with the more open angles, open line of sights. So I kind of see why he waited till the end to change it, but definitely love to see it.
All right, so now it's gonna be crucial to see what Crowder wants to try and retaliate with on this defensive hold. I love teams that want to hold up close. I wish teams did this in Overwatch too, because I feel like this is such it's such an effective strategy that even if you wind up losing super early on in these team fights, guess what? You have another opportunity to fight it off. I know there's better positions a little bit further back, but then you're relinquishing so much payload progress, and how fast the convoy moves, you're pretty much giving up a whole lot of space for free.
Oh, no, I fully see what you're talking about there. I know I was actually having the same conversation with Hammerlord the other day. We're talking about doing Overwatch and Marvel Rivals when it comes to how close combat things oftentimes happen. And we came to the realization there was so many more pure melee characters in Rivals. Take Wolverine, take Hulk, take Thing, Magic. So many pure or primarily melee characters. Overwatch has one or two. So it's definitely Marvel Rivals encourages that much closer brawling up in your face play style, which is definitely nice to see at times.
Yeah, nice change of pace. So let's see if they can maintain it here on their attack. Not too far away, but you're seeing them prioritizing the high ground a little bit.
We are seeing the exact same team comp out of Gators again this time. See if it'll pay off.
Hey, Bowser already hunting the front line a bit, and we're gonna see a Venom come out from Parker Power, maybe just trying to disrupt this back line. You know, Kubi playing on the Rocket Raccoon. I was just about to say that's actually not a bad choice either, but unfortunately these trades are not going to be in your favor if you're Crowder. You want to try to win these fights as cleanly as possible without losing any of your teammates. You see Loki just trying to keep what little teammates they have left on this objective. They are pretty healthy, but at the same time, Kubi is going to be right back in this fight.
Looks like Bowser's here playing almost more defensively, trying to protect his supports. You know, whenever that Venom's popping in down to say hello to his rocket, there's Bowser with claws out, ready to say hello.
Alright, not trying to slow down anytime soon. So we can see Parker getting kind of low, but it doesn't matter. We're about to have Rocket Raccoon. Oh, we're going to have Sia coming up for, of course, from Crowder. But are we going to try to match it with ultimates? I mean, Bowser going to have his ultimate, and he's immediately going to pop it straight to the backline, straight to the hearts. Already wound up getting Luna. Can he find the other supports? He's got to deal with two of them with the triple support lineup on the side of Crowder. Just kind of making things a little bit harder for him to get any more picks. But with Parker falling, now it's going to be more payload progress in favor of Brazosport.
You can definitely see the lack of damage on Crowder's side being shown in the fact that it's very hard to kill Bowser, or I say as Bowser dies. But almost all of BC Gators, it's been very hard to get that needed damage off to secure the kills. The 3-3 comp from Crowder works at times, but is rough too to try to secure all those kills.
Yeah, I mean, you already hit the nail on the head. It's great for like holding the point and kind of just whittling down your opponents and stuff like that. But I think if you're not going to be, oh man, big Phoenix ultimate and the paired up with Bowser, just being able to help clean up everybody gets all so low. I mean, that's going to be a quick team fight win in favor of Brazosport. And now they cap that first point with plenty of time in the time bank, 4 minutes.
Compared to Crowder's 2.5 minutes, this is a huge lead in BC Gators' favor. On top of that, you can see those post-fight picks off from Gators to get that, prolonged before the next team fight comes out.
Yeah, you can see them just trying to clear this debris so they can get a clear sight line. I think it definitely benefits the attacking side. Defense definitely want to try to keep it up as long as they can, but you can see they're scouting out Parker a bit as well. just hunting from the back lines, but you got to worry about Bowser yourself. Luna popping ult, just trying to keep what little people they have. They do gotta get in the res with the addition of Rocket Raccoon, getting stunned, getting kind of low, forced to shout it out just to kind of keep himself nice and healthy. Parker just putting catapulted back to the back line. Cold Ramen tries to find it with the Magneto, not gonna be able to find a whole lot. And Jellyfish, double kill, huge to stop the fight, stop that bleeding. For just a only a minute burnt off the clock. Brazosport not too dissatisfied with that. They can wind up turning things around. They have a couple ultimates at their disposal as well they can retaliate with.
Oh yeah, no, that was a huge exchange of ultimates there in general. That was 4 ults to 5 ults. BC Gators up on the ult count now. See if they can make the most of that advantage.
Yeah, they definitely can. Murphy has duplicate in hand. I would imagine he's probably going to either go for the Magneto or maybe potentially another Rocket Raccoon. Be really annoying with the double C ult. You can see 100 charge for Bowser. He's just trying to find Squirrel Girl out of position. She is all on her lonesome. And you know what? Without any type of support, you will fall. So that's a fight to start off with a pick in favor of Brazosport. Bone Daddy finds one as well. They do wind up getting a res on one of them. But, I mean, again, the payload's still moving along. Parker getting dangerously low. And, it's going to be tough to kind of hold this point here. Yeah, well, borderline impossible. That's going to be it.
That should be the fight. Not even a single ult out of either teams on that fight. That pickle from the Squirrel Girl to end up use up the revive was definitely beneficial for BC Gators. It allowed them to kill Murphy without having to worry about him coming back and ulting.
Yeah, and look at that. They're just going to walk it in. Yeah, not even going to get a desperation touch, unfortunately. Crowder just forced to go straight back to spawn doors. And now, I mean, they do have the high ground advantage, but this isn't Star Wars, my friend. There's plenty of ultimates to go around. Yeah, Murphy does duplicate the Sentinel, the Magneto, just trying to find an ultimate. Something quick, but unfortunately, Cold Ramen just playing way too good damage mitigation in the backline. Just when I say that, Bowser themselves, straight back to it. We've seen it time and time again. Playing the Parker now, or the Penny Parker, just trying to, disrupt some of the dive potential that Bowser has. And, considering he's been going all by himself, he's been finding so much success in his fights.
When ignored, when ignored, Bowser can be a very, very big problem with the enemy team, especially on Wolverine like this. As you can see, that Penny Parker's never caused him a lot of issues going forward, but it does... Oh, there you go.
Okay, Sia ult being popped on the point, but again, they can kind of destroy it as quickly as it comes up. Phoenix ult being used by Bone Daddy, not going to find a whole lot of success. Cold Ramen does chop down quite a big target, and you know what? That little Spiracle is enough to be able to take control of the point and close out map number 1.
Yeah, that was a huge play at the end. There's that nice little boop at the very last second from Magneto, I think, is what won that, or what got them the last little bit they needed to win that first point, or that last point. Love to see it.
Yeah, you already said it. It was just one of those things. I mean, they had enough, resources. They already got that payload so close to being able to close that out and just push it into that golden box of victory that pretty much any type of disruption tool is enough to kind of push them off that point and close out the map. But you can see, I mean, big damage blocked on the side of Brazosport. Obviously Crowder has a little bit more where they ran the triple Vanguard for quite a bit. However, to no avail. I think at some point in time they had to relinquish a little bit of the damage mitigation in favor of actual raw damage, especially if you're going to run the Venom as well to try to disrupt, either the Cloak and Dagger or the Rocket Raccoon. I feel like Rocket Raccoon staying alive for way too long, and if you don't take care of him, he gets that that res machine back up and running, and that's just going to keep looping the amount of bodies you're going to have to deal with the entire time.
Well, I mean, that and both Rocket Raccoon and Cloak and Dagger have AoE healing. So it means that you're going to need just that much more damage spread out between the team to be able to secure any kills. So it makes it that much harder without your dedicated DPS. If you just have your tanks and supports, it's almost like there's kind of a reason for the DPS role to exist.
Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought, Phoenix?
Who would have thought you need to get damage secure kills?
Couldn't be me, man. Couldn't be me.
Thanks for coming by.
Ranked games.
Yeah. And some of my ranked teammates, I don't think they know that either.
We'll teach them all one stream at a time.
Yeah.
But
well,
again, yeah, you got to highlight how well Bowser being able to play in tandem with Bone Daddy as well.
oh yeah. And even just the healing numbers you can see from BCK is just that much higher. Even you're running the 2 supports. They had, I believe, I'm gonna do the quick math. Yeah, more heals than the enemy team did with their triple support lineup.
Yeah, essentially 80,000 plus healing just on that one map alone. So,
oh yeah, love to see it. All right, well, we're gonna be good between rounds, and we'll be back soon with map 2. Looks like it's gonna be Heart of Heaven. I believe it's the Asgard map. So, be back soon. All right, and we're back.
Welcome.
Round 2. So I was wrong. This is not the Asgard map. This is, I don't even know where this map is based on, but it's a cool map. I like this map. So BC Gators are up 1-0 currently. See if they can make it a 2-0 right now. Looks like we had a trade out. We have Xavier in instead of Kai. And remind me, was Koob in last match? I don't think he was.
Yeah, he was. He was playing Rocket Raccoon for a good majority.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah, we've got the trade out of Xavier in, and Kai's out this round.
I'm kind of interested. This is actually one of the newer maps that they've released, so not too often you get to see these ones. But again, might be something they practiced, they scrimmed up in, and that's something you can catch some of your opponents off guard. But now we can see Neymar showing his ugly face once again. I know it's a thorn in a lot of people's sides, a lot of the the top bans when they notice that they have one of the Neymar players, but not gonna be able to deal with it now. Just gonna have to just face it front on. You can see Crowder being having their thing banned for the second map.
Man, almost just watched Hammerlord get kidnapped there by Angela. You're gonna have to look out for that around playing on these choke points here. But it looks like BCK.
Yeah, I was gonna say nice little freeze on of course, but again, playing in a pretty good position where they're not overextending too much to kind of just taking some poke damage, trying to make some space a little bit.
Yeah, just trying to hold around this choke here, doing a great job of it so far. Everyone's farming up ults, seeing who's gonna give first.
No way. There's no way he's gonna play that aggressive and still survive. Murphy going straight to the backline, trying to channel his inner Bowser. Speaking of Bowser, going over to Hella. So I'm surprised. I feel like this is not one of the characters I expected him to play, especially considering how dominant he's been on the flanking type character. But making some space nonetheless. Now controlling the high ground. I guess maybe on defense might be a different story.
Well, that or the combo with the Namor for the team up is part of the reason why. Already we've lost Ramen here, unfortunately. Seeing the Namor ultimate out of Crowder, this is going to be a rough 5 BCGs to win. Already got the Luna Snow ult coming out to try to prolong this team fight.
Hey, we've got our own Neymar ult as well, but not going to even get an opportunity to use it. Martian just going straight to the heart of Brazosport, just completely eliminating everybody off the objective, and now it's just a desperation, just run away, try to get back to your spawn, not get staggered any more than you already are. You see Cold Ramen not going to be able to survive this onslaught for any longer. Of course, scouting out his opposing Magneto, helping close out this first point. Not quite a team kill, but pretty darn close to it. Still going to get some good time on the bank for the convoy to start moving along.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of BCG trying to hold back a little bit, not die, not lose anyone, but they can't really make any major pushes until Ramen's back. Have to play very carefully here, and the Hammerlord's
really
hurting.
low. Yeah, I was gonna say everybody gets super low right there, but it's okay. We get right back to it. Got a full health Emma right in front of your face. We're gonna utilize some ultimates here. I know it's pretty close to the spawn doors, but at the same time, you don't want to keep giving them any more space than they've already gotten. And Bowser willing to pop Hella ult, and in combination with Bone Daddy, that's gonna be a quick little team wipe. Calling down the heaven, and they're trying to block in his face, but it don't matter. He's right back to his team.
Now that Namor ult got 2 picks right at the start. That was a huge ult there. Still saving the Loki ult here. Probably use his next fight, most likely to copy someone like Luna Snow.
You think he's gonna go? I think he's gonna get greedy. I think he's gonna try to go for Magneto, go for damage, or go for even the Neymar again. I mean, we see a lot of success with the Neymar ultimate, finding picks, and Parker not even needing the ultimate, just gonna go straight for the trident to the head, getting killed. Coob losing Luna's ult. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Not able to make any space. And yeah, you can see Xavier duplicating the Neymar, just trying to help, equalize the fight just for a bit, just trying to find an equalizing pick, but not gonna be able to find a whole lot. Pretty much wasting our duplicate. Bowser getting ripped from the heavens, ripped from his safety of his backline. But you can see Payload still chugging along. Gotta find some way to stop this bleeding.
Suspect we're probably about to see Emma Frost ult here in a second. That's be a great angle for it too.
Yeah, I hope we see it at some point in time. He's been holding on to it for a little bit. Maybe just... Oh, wait, we're just gonna give up the point? Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Oh.
We just gave up so much space. We have ultimates that we can utilize, and we're just not using any of them. Just kind of got stuck between a rock and a hard place. Brazosport just, unfortunately, a huge error in terms of positioning. They were trying to deal with Murphy in the back line. Crowder just making a ton of space, doing what Wolverine cannot. Able to kind of rip people even further into their back line, forcing them to split their attention a little bit. And you know what? They were able to kind of cruise that payload all the way in. Convoy having a much easier time here on the second point.
We are seeing Bowser switch off onto Winter Soldier here, help counteract some of those flyers, some of the flankers.
All right, you're up, son. See if we can find some more picks. We're going to run the double hit scan on the side of Brazosport. Still utilizing the 2-2-2, but... Uh-oh. Here we go. Just trying to get rid of Murphy out of the backline. Just still being a pestering nuisance. And Neymar helping put people on their back. Luna able to survive for the time being, but they still have Loki. Xavier not going to be able to survive too much longer either. And now it's going to be going back to the spawn once again for Brazosport, and Crowder just having a lot of momentum pushing this convoy on through.
I mean, BC Gators does have a large number of ults to pop here this next fight. They've managed to push the time down 2 minutes. They have to survive. Well, it's going to be annoying to survive this long. But it might be doable.
I'm hoping we can see Hammer pop their ultimate. Again, they've been holding on to it for so long. And with Royal, I mean, putting Cloak and Dagger ult on the point, Coob might have to retaliate with their own. Yes, we are going to retaliate. Magneto ultimate's coming out all over the place, and Coob can only stand there and watch as the Magneto lands, luckily nowhere near him. Here we go once again. Invisible Woman just trying to make things a little bit harder for Brazosport to see. And you know what? All they can see is their teammates falling. One more death. And again, Hammer pops their ultimate, but way too late. I mean, the point was already getting scooted all in, last alive, and that's when you want to decide to use your ultimate. Crucial error from Brazosport there.
It's still a winnable match here. BC's gonna have to push all the way in like they did on the first assault map, or the first push map where they had last round. Just push it all the way and then get to a third and fourth round to try to secure it. But it's definitely gonna be a challenge here.
Yeah, it's getting a lot harder. So I wonder what they're gonna do to deal with this Angela, right? Murphy's been kind of just dashing into the backline and just chopping people up. Obviously, Bowser not able to do that himself. They couldn't save the Wolverine in time, so gonna have to think about some way to kind of disrupt this backline, because we're missing that from map number one. Map number one was very, very dominant in form of Bowser and Bone Daddy kind of teaming up and kind of lighten up the backline, making things harder for not only for them to survive, but then also for them to actually, utilize some of these picks. So if they don't find something now, it might be a tied-up series.
Why would I have to be? I've already disabled the internal mechanisms on all.
I mean, even with the so far, we have seen a lot of dominance out of BC Gators against Crowder. So although it has been close in many matches, especially first map, it was a large amount of dominance from the BC Gators side. So this is looking promising.
All right, Bowser. This time going for the Punisher himself. Normally it's Bone Daddy rocking it out, but instead going to go for the Moon Knight. I don't mind that pick. I think that's gonna be a little bit easier, kind of disrupt Neymar a little bit, and also you can kind of make some space in the chokes, especially if you can get that icon down. I think if he can get the icon down safely, it might be a little bit easier. They scout Murphy going off on the flank onto the left, but again, they can't like split their attention too much. You saw what happened last time they tried to go after Murphy. They wound up C9ing that point altogether. Hey, they're starting to make some leeway, starting to make some space. They're already at the corner. They're past the gate. But again, Murphy's still alive, still daunting into the back line. Of course, getting really, really low, so they're going to have to keep him alive. Royal not going to be able to survive. Moon Knight ult straight to the back line. Bone Daddy get a crucial first 2 picks. And you know what? I think the damage has already been done. All you got to do is clean up the last few stragglers, and that might be the first objective already said and done for Brazosport.
Gotta give props to Bone Daddy on that fight there. A lot of picks off from him. At the same time, man, Moon Knight, I can't stand playing as Moon Knight. It's just throw Onk down, spam shot. Yes, I know there's a lot more to the character than that, but it is... From a low elo player in this game, I can't stand playing against Moon Knights.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating, especially when, like I said, you've already pointed out alluding to how, easy it is to get a lot of value from the character itself. And I think that's what you have to try to find with some of these characters, that can balance the difficulty with the actual utility of it. And you can see Murphy still, utilizing, Angela. Not too often we see the character, but it's one of those things. I think when they saw Bowser using that a whole lot from that last map, gonna try to duplicate it. Hammerlord does fall, but again we're really close to the spawn door, so they don't mind losing this fight and just kind of taking it once again once they gotta get a full head of steam.
Especially as they managed to pull out the Cloak and Dagger ult during that fight from Crowder. Now they're going in with one less support ult, allowing BC Gators to prepare for a big push.
Ooh. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, we're still really close to spawn door, but it's going to be a big ultimate this fight. I mean, we got a ton that we can commit here. We essentially got 11 ultimates on the field, so we're going to see Q button being pressed for sure. Honestly, I hope we save a couple of them for last. Like, I hope we get to see Hammer pop his first, just kind of bait out some sort of util. Maybe potentially baiting out the... Oh, there we go. Nayo Magamoto just trying to make some space, trying to stop the bleeding for a little bit, but unfortunately overextends. Invisible and ult popped on the objective. Bowser says, I don't care. I'm going to shoot into the hole, and I'm going to find somebody. Parker getting rid of Bowser's more Punisher ultimate. But again, we still got the Sia ult popping up. Still keeping people nice and healthy while outputting a ton of damage.
Well, those are the moments where Rocky Raccoon's ult really excels, and fights like that where the enemy team doesn't have the opportunity to even look at it, and where your team's taking huge amounts of damage.
Okay, they give him a bubble. Murphy able to fly away to the safety of their team. So not going to get a starting off pick, but Crowder not having a whole lot of ultimates to their advantage. They do pop Moon Knight ult in the back line, but Parker and Murphy, again, tag team duo, immediately snuffing them out. See Squirrel Girl coming back up for Martian. Magneto ult comes out straight to the back line, not going to be able to find anything quite yet, but again, they're still getting some payload progress, trying to make some space. Invisible Woman building up to their ultimate again. We do still have Cloak and Dagger ultimate to kind of stall the payload for the time being, but Bowser, huge pick, swaps over to the Winter Soldier. He's already finding a pick, but again, when Hammerlord falls, they do get the res off, but I don't know if we're going to be able to survive for too much longer. Bone Daddy also swapping over to Star-Lord to kind of make some space, maybe goes to the back line. Disrupt some of this, this relentless pressure. Uh-oh, here we go. Cloak and Dagger ult on the objective. Feeling a little too much pressure. Xavier immediately retaliating with their own dance show. Oh, man. Parker. Whoa, where did he go? Did he fall underneath the map? I can't even tell. Oh, he's on the underground there.
He really... To say, Rock Raccoon is a little rat at heart, and he loves to hide in little obscure corners and angles.
I haven't played on this one too often. Typically when I play on the Venom's world. Oh man, really aggressive angle from Murphy. Hopefully he didn't get punished. Hammerlord just trying to utilize some of the space, and we gotta pop. You know, Luna's ult here. We gotta pop it. They're all in a line. You gotta utilize it before you fall. And it's gonna be a wipe again. We have a minute still left on the clock for Brazosport, but they're in a really tough spot. They still have to full cap this map, and you know they might have to push all the way through overtime.
Looks like we do have the thing there, trying to hide, try to get some cheeky damage.
He's camouflaged. You can't see him.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. Release the horde. Man, and just push him to the corner. Invisible Woman ult comes out. And yeah, luckily they stop time. They have 30 seconds. Hopefully we see a quick little reset from Brazosport. Do not want to stagger yourselves anymore. Yeah, if you're gonna fall, you might as well fall now. Coob just trying to live up to the rat's name, but unfortunately runs straight into a rat trap.
They're gonna come down a Rom here to touch. See if he can hold out for the 10 seconds.
Okay, we're working on some ultimates. Ramen, 99%. Murphy popping Angela's, just trying to keep him tethered to the point. Oh, and nice little knockdown, but Cold Ramen getting really low. Bone Daddy just gonna pop ultimates to the back line. Has to try to find some sort of picks, and immediately getting stabbed out of position. Murphy, a hero play. Get down, Mr. President, saves his life. But Bowser still on the payload, swaps over to the Jeff, just trying to help keep people nice and healthy with the assistance of Coob. And you know what? They're going to be able to survive for the time being. Bubble has to be utilized on Murphy. And again, there's so much, you know, happening on the objective. All the while, Colt, of course, still has access to the Magneto ultimate. Royal popping Cloak and Dagger ult. They want to make sure we close out now. Don't want to leave anything up to chance. And of course, again, still has access to Magneto ult, so if he starts getting low, he can just pull that out at any point in time. And look at Cold Ramen, still full HP on the objective, and now we have the assistance of Xavier dancing on the point. Invisible Woman ult being used, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's on the objective. Bowser just gets two, gives back his teammate, but unfortunately falls. Of course, you know, sniping out the Jeff. We put Bone Daddy on the Doctor Strange, just trying to get back to the point as quick as we can. But again, there's still the fight happening. It's a long overtime push. And here we go. Once again, just release the horde and just gonna chop them up, rip them off the objective, and that's gonna be a team fight win, a team fight kill for Crowder College. Withstanding fights, but unfortunately the Rat is not able to recontest, and that's gonna be a tied up series here for Crowder College.
Yeah, Crowder College winning round 2, pointing to a 1-1. We will be back soon, round 3, to see who gets into the lead. So we'll be back with that soon. See you guys soon.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are tied up here 1-1 here in the series. We got Crowder College trying to duke it up against Brazosport's team. We got a couple subs coming in. I think we got Kay subbing in for Coob, so we're not going to see potentially no more Rocket Raccoon on the side of Brazosport. But again, I think, you know, Crowder's definitely got a solution for some of the amount of damage that Brazosport's been able to output here in the series.
Oh yeah, 100%. And this next map is around map 3. We've got Hell's Heaven, which I know I said it last time. I think this is the Asgard map. I'm gonna find out. So I'm probably gonna eat those words again, but
yeah, probably.
It's nice to see this lineup. I suspect we're gonna see a similar kind of thing with Hammerlord and Ramen on tank, Bowser and Bone on DPS, and then Kai and X-Lord on support again.
Hey,
but
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I always tell people. If you find a solution, if you find a comp that feels comfortable for you and your team, you might as well keep it going. Just keep it consistent throughout the entire series. No need to make any type of drastic changes. But again, with Crowder, the very similar lineup. Actually, I don't think they're gonna be seeing too many swaps beyond Jellyfish coming in for. Who came in for Jellyfish?
I'm not entirely sure who they swapped to get Jelly in.
it's easier when we know the teams, you know, our teammates. We know who's going in and out pretty easily because we know the players personally.
Yeah.
But for Crowder, where are they based at? Are they still here in Texas?
I don't know. Let me Google will tell me. Google will tell me.
It's like I don't know, but Google knows for sure.
Missouri.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You know what? I would have not guessed that. I would have guessed like I don't know. I probably would have the strangest state. I probably would have guessed probably be Nebraska.
Ain't nothing wrong with Missouri. But yeah, we are seeing the white fox out of Kai for this one. And I mentioned this at the start. Gonna be interesting to see how she plays in with everything being new to the new to the scene here, tournament scene.
We're gonna have to find out. I mean, Crowder tried at the beginning of the series, you know, immediately relinquished it, gave it up, and I mean, they've been rocking Angela ever since. And I didn't feel like they've had a lot of success with it. They haven't had a strong answer for it yet. I mean, I think they, you know, with Cold Ramen going over to the Thor, I think this does help out a little bit. I think you just needed some sort of CC tool to kind of stop her in her place, keep her from, you know, kidnapping any of your teammates. And, you know, this is a great start for their team. Able to kind of cap the point first, make the space, you know, control this choke. If they keep that going, it's going to be really tough for Crowder to get anything going. You see Murphy immediately recognize that and automatically goes over to the thing. So no more Angela from the side of Crowder.
Okay, we are seeing them go back to what they tried round one with the heavier reliance on closer range brawl. See if BC gets punished as much as they did last time.
Oh man, not able to find anything for it. Xavier once again starting off hot. Rock Invisible Woman. It's nice when you have, you know, a support that can output a ton of damage in tandem with the amount of healing, because then it kind of makes things a little bit harder for you to get into the fight. Just when I say that, you get rid of Invisible Woman, Phoenix on the side of Martian. Martian's been playing all sorts of characters. We saw Squirrel Girl, we saw obviously Phoenix, we saw I think we saw Rogue for them a little bit earlier too. So there's a ton of characters that they've been flexible with. But right back to it, they do swap the point back into their favor. Only at 51%, so definitely still, you know, you can easily tie this up here with a couple of fight wins. They're gonna have a tough time here going into this next fight, considering they have 5 ultimates at their disposal. I know it's only 4 now, but they can get some back. Bone Daddy immediately falling to the Phoenix ult, and you know what? I'm glad they didn't decide to commit any ultimates. They just kind of regrouped back to their team, go right back to square one. Unfortunately, Cold Ramen, the map geometry just shifted right back when he was about to retreat back to his team. Unfortunately, winds up falling in the meantime. But again, not a big deal for the team. They didn't utilize any resources. They're right back to it. Bowser swapping over to the Moon Knight. Thought about the Squirrel Girl, but thought about how, you know, Marsh was trying to utilize that character a little bit earlier to no avail. And now they actually take the lead in terms of percentage.
Yeah, Gators losing the lead here, but having a lot of ults for this fight. As long as they commit enough here, they should win this.
Hey, they have the resources. Cold Ramen commits to ultimate, getting really, really low and able to survive for the time being. But again, you have to worry about spider time now for Parker Penny. Penny Parker is making a lot of space on the point. Eyes of Agamotto as well, wind up stunning 2 of them and gets those 2 picks. The assistance of Bone Daddy does help out a little bit. Parker does get rid of Xavier. Bone Daddy still thinks we need to commit the ultimates, and you know what? I don't blame him. Get this fight over with now and done. It is going to push to overtime for Crowder College, so they're going to bait out another ultimate in their favor. But your favorite character coming back to the point with Moon Knight, able to kind of just chunk down the last bits of characters on the objective. Oh wow, we're still committing ultimates. They still think it's winnable. Moon Knight getting stunned. They do commit the ultimate on the site, but unfortunately, Murphy lifts up the entire team and rips out their hearts. What a turnaround. I thought that fight was definitely winnable in favor of Brazosport, but Crowder, recognizing that they had full healthy tanks on the objective and still committed, and what a time to do it. Able to take that first point here in map number 3.
No, definitely. That fight was, same as you. I thought it was BC Gators' fight to win there, but the Invisible Woman ult right at the end saved both of Crowder's tanks. and ultimately led to the team fight in winning in favor of Crowder for that one.
It's frustrating, right? Because you get Mr. Fantastic so low, and all he's got to do is just pop up his chest, and now he's like a second life they have to deal with. So hopefully they can kind of find some stagger. Again, I think CC tools are super important. It's unfortunate because I know my man Ramen is a big Thor player. He loves to rock the Thor when he can, but now recognizing that this calls for the Emma.
Battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
We are keeping Bowser on. We are putting Bowser on to Jeff though, which is I always love to see some Jeffrey out of Bowser.
Especially if Kai wants to run the White Fox, I don't blame this pick. You know, I wish we could see the Wolverine again. I feel like now that Wolverine's not banned on this map, I would like to see, you know, Bowser go back to what was working there in map number 1, just to kind of force them to rethink their strategy. Back on the Angela though for Murphy. Surprised that you know that swap came out, considering he was doing so well on the. Oh wow, nice, very early ultimate from Kai. Makes a ton of space, getting everybody super low, and you know what? That's exactly what we need here to start the map.
I must admit, I've not been watching White Fox enough to really see what it all does. That is actually really cool to see it. Definitely a huge way to gain space, as you mentioned there. Lots of space pushed back. Created the momentum needed to control the point.
It's pretty good, man. It does 85 heal a second while still having like 900 HP. So I mean, during the whole ultimate time, you pretty much have enough to recharge your entire health bar. Bone Daddy just forced to back up. They lose their Doctor Strange super quickly in that fight. That's definitely a head scratch right there. Not a whole lot happened beyond, you know, Cloak and Dagger ultimate, but I guess they forced him out of position. This map doesn't move around a whole lot more, but still one of those things you got to pay attention to. The geometry becomes a factor in this fight. Bone Daddy trying to rip people out of position. Got access to Winter Soldier. I would imagine we're gonna go for it kind of early, but he needs to get out in the open so he can get some high ground, get some space to breathe. Armed and dangerous. It's actually coming up from Marsh instead. Hold on, trying to control the mind. And this is a great pair of ultimates to kind of, you know, circumvent the amount of damage that they had. Yeah, that's going to be a fight win in favor of Brazosport. Flipping it back over in their favor. Only at 35% from Crowder, so not, you know, not too much more. They're going to be able to take the lead back in their favor, but again, they've got to make sure they play this, you know, objective a little bit more cautiously this time around.
100%. This time they're going to be coming up on a lot of ult species Gators. So they'll see how this next fight goes. So the switch back to Angela again from Crowder College. BC Gators pretty much keeping the same team comp as they had earlier. And changes.
Yeah, nothing really to pair up with the Angela ultimate. That you're going to be able to stagger some people still in the back line, and you know what? We're going to Parker ult on the objective as well. But just when I say that, immediately going to chomp down on those two characters. So now those two ultimates essentially going to waste, and they're going to be able to immediately throw them out of bounds. What a huge ultimate from Bowser. I mean, that was a 2 for the price of 1 ultimate count, and we actually do commit the Mr. Fantastic ultimate on the objective. They do get rid of Bone Daddy, but again, you wind up losing that ultimate. I'd rather keep that for the, you know, the subsequent fight. And now we're going to be approaching the 90% mark for Brazosport.
So with the Jeff ult earlier, you could very much see he was planned out and thought ahead with the bubble placement for him to grab them along his way out.
And we committed again another ultimate. Eyes of Agamotto gets the stun, potentially just barely whipping it out. But again, Kai just trying to make some space on the objective. These systems of Bowser, they do get rid of one target, but they need to get rid of this Mr. Fantastic. Immediately putting him invisible. And I wonder if they're just going to relinquish the point. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to give up on the objective for now. They got it to 99%, so now it's just a one-fight territory to secure the second objective.
Well, I mean, they are coming up on 2 ults here, so they could just wait and ult dump the 2 and hope for the early win. BC Gators does have the time to play a little bit more, you know, cautiously with this last fight and just secure a single fight win.
Their team's capture progress has passed
But
the halfway
they do have a couple ultimates they can work with. They do have Emma's coming up. Obviously, Ramen wasn't really able to utilize a whole lot the last time around, but I think this fight might be a little bit easier to get some damage going, especially considering they don't have any type of defensive ultimates at on their side. Bone Daddy hunting with the Winter Soldier as well. Wants to get rid of Murphy before they make any type of commitment. You see him just patiently walking around, just waiting for to try to rip somebody out of position. Gonna get stunned. We're gonna still commit some ultimates. Marsh finds one. That's a big pick. And a second in favor of Crowder. They need a reset right now. They need to find a wipe. We're already at 85%. Team kill does come in, but again, Kay getting staggered at that last bit too. They're gonna have to rely on the teleporter from Hammerlord to get onto this objective. Go for this overtime push. All right, here we go. Your soul belongs to me. Eyes of Agamotto trying to find connection. Not able to find a whole lot. Bowser, I think, does eat 2 more players on the side of Crowder. That's going to be a rip off the objective. Does cost him his life, but you know what? I think it's a valiant effort. It's worth the sacrifice because now it's just 2 people left on the side of Crowder to be able to secure this point, and it's not going to happen. Mr. Fantastic just trying to be evasive, just trying to survive the onslaught. It flips back in their favor, but now it's just a 1 HP Mr. Fantastic. You puff your chest up as big as you want, but you will fall. Parker swapping over to the Venom just to contest as long as they can. They do get staggered, so they're getting held off the point for the time being. Overtime triggering. It's coming down to the wire. They're going to be able to retouch. But without Murphy, it's going to make things a little bit harder. Invisible Woman ult on the point again. Jelly just trying to keep their team healthy. Keep it aggressive. Keep it, this fight alive. And they're definitely doing it, as well as with the Cloak and Dagger ultimate. They need to make sure they win this fight, because now, if they don't win this fight, this is going to be very, very costly for them for this next point. Eyes of Agamotto gets only 1 on the stagger, but able to survive. Royal somehow survives, getting chopped up, soul ripped out of their chest. So much still happening. They're able to recontest here, but you see the overtime slowly trickling out. And with Bowser getting those extra picks, this is just going to be a cleanup fight for Bone Daddy as we get rid of Murphy, clearing up the skies and clearing up our objective. What a fight, man. That was a very deep scramble for that, just for that second objective. This is to take us into the final objective.
So yeah, that was a close one there. A lot of fighting back and forth in the end. That Doctor Strange portal was really the MVP of that last fight. Without that, there would have been no way BSK's getting there in time.
It's unfortunate. I know as well as that last fight for Crowder, they really wanted to win it, and they were dangerously close to doing so, but it's frustrating to see, like, you have to use up all those ultimates and not find the success, not find the win, because now you have to go into this fight completely dry. I mean, essentially pair it up at the same as Brazosport. And so Brazosport sees it as a huge win, because, I mean, at the very tail end, you saw Parker, popping out the Venom ultimate. I'm pretty sure they're going to swap around regardless, but that's much needed percentage with how close these fights have been, how close the objective has been in terms of percentage. They want to try to find any type of resolution into this fight, find some small advantage. Even these 1 or a few percentages is enough to be able to swing the fight in their favor.
This particular point is going to be a rough one. Be very careful that Angela being able to steal people and take them off the edge. BSK is going to be very lookout for that.
Yeah, you better find an anchor to the point. Hammerlord actually starting off the fight, getting rid of Mr. Fantastic. Martian equalizes, but just when we say that, Hammerlord getting ripped off, but thankfully he's able to jump back onto the objective, but he doesn't have enough for the cooldown once again. Oh no, gonna chop him up. Only gonna get 1 person in that ultimate, but you know what? Gonna be able to help clean her up. I mean, I hope. You don't let her escape, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Their entire team is falling behind him. And Jellyfish survives it for that little bit, but at the cost of her team, not really worth it. 10% for Crowder College. I don't know how they capped that point in time, but it doesn't matter. Brazosport able to flip it back in their favor and take the lead. I can't believe that this game is completely tied up in the series. I mean, despite how intense and how closely knit these teams have been going at it, it's still all tied up.
Well, especially since this is now in the playoffs, which is a single elims, so both teams know whoever loses this gets eliminated and is out for the rest, and this will be the end of their season. So
wow, I don't know how Murphy wound up surviving there, get completely stunned up from Ramen. still able to make it out in time. But I think it really helps out when you have that amount of damage mitigation with Mr. Fantastic, compared with Penny spitting out mines on the objective. Makes things a little bit harder to find these guarantees, find these picks that should be dead, right? Same thing, Mr. Fantastic overextends, able to get back to his team in the time being, but Hammerlord does get rid of Penny Parker, so now it's still going to be a plus in this fight. Still commitment, double ultimates being popped out, Squirrel Girl popping her ultimate in tandem with Royal popping Cloak and Dagger ultimates, and now it's just going to be a stagger on the objective. Xavier just keeping their team alive, almost booping them off the map. Eyes of Agamotto still comes out from Hammerlord, getting one, but that's going to be the only one they wind up getting. Now it's just going to be a stagger on the objective, just trying to get that percentage as close to 99 as we can, and it's going to be stopped at 80%.
That was a good fight from both teams there. BCK is able to push it, as you mentioned, up to 80% on the point. That should be one good fight, and then the wrap should be theirs.
You would think, right? But I don't know. These staggers have been so well timed, well placed. It looks like they're probably just waiting for a teleport potentially. Maybe trying to see if Cold or Bone Daddy gets in a pick. Yeah, Hammerlord going to teleport onto the objective here. We have an opportunity to do it. You got to be careful where you're positioned at. Again, the edge always looming, especially with Murphy on the case. Parker popping their ultimate on the objective. Just trying to make some space. Add a ton of minefields. Still dangerously close to the edge. I was just warning you. Bone Daddy ripping you off the edge. Off the map we go. We do get rid of Hammerlord. And just trying to find some sort of success with this. Jeffel gets two, and I think we're going to want to see a sacrifice of valiant effort again for Crowder, but unfortunately, he will die in the belly of the shark.
It's not fully over yet. There is still some people Crowder left.
What?
There's a
No
Squirrel
way,
Girl. Oh
Martian.
no.
Martian getting 3 picks in that fight. Oh, and of course, is he able to survive? Not going to be able to survive. They're going to be able to flip it back into their favor. Again, they got to worry about the edge. To have to get stunned off the map. And again, Crowder takes the lead in terms of percentage. The team's going to be desperately getting back to the point. But all the while, I mean, they're just trickling back in once again. How are they going to get rid of these bodies? There's so much HP. They don't have the damage to circumvent it. Bone Daddy does have ult. We're going to pop it in the back line. Get people kind of low. If we can find the elimination, able to get the reset. Straight back to the hearts. Getting super low. Not able to find that second pick. Can't overextend. One of falling. His overextension is going to hurt him.
BC Gators do take the point here. Maybe they'll push Crowder off the point. Long taken now. Pulling up their percentage up to 90% now. See if they can keep them off for that last little bit, and they win. Have to be careful with this.
It's got to be big. An overtime contest once again. You know how long these overtime pushes go. It's going to make you run out of breath once again. But it doesn't matter.
This is going to be the last fight for both teams here. And it's going to be a close one. Already Invisible Woman ult out. Here comes Eye of Agamotto getting lots of Crowder. Cloak and Dagger ult keeping them all alive. BC Gators down 3. And that will be the fight in Crowder's favor. That is Crowder College winning this map. Putting the series up to 1-2 in Crowder's favor.
Man, very valiant effort inside of Brazosport, but unfortunately not able to, deal with the amount of HP on the objective once again. And that's the only thing where I feel like we're missing out on. I feel like we're missing out on one of those crucial flankers that, Crowder's been taking advantage of. That first map was looking really, really solid. They had the Wolverine, couldn't do it in map 2 with the ban, but here in map 3, still missing it despite no ban from that side of Crowder. Again, Murphy just being a thorn in their side. Every single fight, if you see them all kind of looking in the skies, taking off angles, just kind of splitting the attention a little bit, and it allows players like Parker and, of course, to kind of survive a lot of these ordeals. Despite how much damage they're being dished out into them, they still find a way to live. They still find a way to persevere and turn the fights on their head. I mean, you saw right there, I thought that fight was definitely over again, but once again, Crowder got to have that tenacity.
That last fight, it was 100% the Cloak and Dagger ult over top of the entire point that saved that fight for Crowder. Almost every single person got stunned by the Doctor Strange ult. And it would have been over for them if they didn't have that constant high healing from the Cloak and Dagger. So,
All right. But with that being said, we're going to take another short break. We're going to find out where we're going for map number 4. Brazosport trying to tie things up. Crowder just trying to close out the series right here and now. And I think they need to do it because I think if you give Brazosport one more map, I think they're going to come back with a vengeance.
Exactly.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Crowder College now in the lead on set point. Again, we're in playoffs territory, so single elimination. So Brazosport facing elimination, do they have what it takes to bring it back into, to fruition? Do they have an opportunity? Do they have a chance? I know they have an opportunity to, but do they want it is the real question.
Yeah, will they take advantage of the opportunity they have? And honestly, I think they will. I've seen a lot come out of BC Gators when it comes down to these crunch matches like this. Especially this map, we're gonna have Yggdrasil Path Convoy. So that is another escort map, another convoy map. They've been doing a lot of those so far tonight. But BC Gators has been doing well on those so far, so I'm expecting big things from BC Gators. They are switching out who did they switch out? I think they switched out Bone and Coob. So Coob's gonna be in this match and Bone is sitting out this one.
Yeah, so what that tells me right there is that they're going to put Bowser primarily back on to DPS here. And I like I said, I agree with this pick. I feel like that's what we've been missing for a while. I think, having access to a flanker or just somebody that can get you that pick potential is paramount to these games. Because, I mean, you could run the triple Vanguard, triple support all day long and stuff like that. But at the same time, you're missing out on a crucial part of the game, which is, of course, getting those eliminations. And when games go down to those nitty gritty, like those grindy grout matches, it really does come down to like who can get that one lucky pick, who can find that ultimate that they need to be able to turn that fight around.
I couldn't agree more, especially with how much healing gets pumped out from all these support ults. If you don't have a high enough damage output, you kind of just can't do anything. It's just a free team fight for whoever popped the support ult.
All right, but attacking first is going to be Crowder College, so let's see if Brazosport can tie up the series, or is their playoff run going to end tonight? See Hammerlord back on the tank as per usual, along with Cold Ramen. No Thor in sight, but again, with the bans coming out, no more Luna, no more Invisible Woman, but of course, the perma Gambit ban is always here to stay.
Kind of sad to see it. After all, X-Lord is a huge Gambit player. We are seeing a trade-off right at the start of the fight here, and BCK is up one now.
Yeah, you see Robin just constantly running away from Parker, and Parker just being relentless both with the walls and the amount of damage just to make sure he doesn't get out anytime soon. But, I mean, despite, actually losing somebody, they're still, they're able to hold this payload for the time being, regrouping, trying to get some resources loaded up. But again, when you have, players like Bowser that constantly just outputting a ton of damage, makes things a little bit harder to actually walk into.
Well, Bowser as well as Moon Knight. Moon Knight punched the teams they group up at all, and then Bowser if they stay on their own. Here comes the early ult. Moon Knight ult coming out early, clearing off the payload, allowing BC Gators to push up and retake the ground they lost. No picks from it, unfortunately, but it did build a lot of space for BC Gators. Here comes Groot ult out from Crowder, getting two, Bowser and Hammerlord both down. This is going to be a bit of a reset here.
Yeah, it has to be a reset for their team. I'm genuinely surprised. I didn't think I'd see Coob on the DPS. I mean, throughout this entire series, when Coob has been playing, he's been playing typically the Rocket Raccoon. So I'm not going to see another support on the side of Brazosport, instead utilizing the 2-2-2 composition. It's really balanced, but unfortunately, that fight win was going to be enough for them to actually be able to secure point alpha. However, again, Martian oversteps just for a split second and immediately getting chopped up. On the receiving end of being picked this time around, but we have a ton of ultimates on the side of Brazosport. I would like to see at least one being utilized here. But the real question is, which one do you use? I mean, we've got a ton of them at their disposal. I don't think Xavier uses any of them except for duplication. maybe going to duplicate the opposing team's Invisible Woman. Moon Knight ult being coming out super early onto the backline. Coob winds up getting one, but not before we get rid of Ramen.
I think it'll most likely be the Eye of Agamotto, the Doctor Strange ult coming out here soon. Especially since they can drop off the high ground on top of the enemy team. You'll get a large amount of value out of it.
Just something. Like I said, I think we got to use something just to make sure we stop this payload right here and now. Hammer getting super low, not going to be able to hold that shield up for too much longer. Coob also having to back up. They do utilize Neymar ult, but to no advantage. They were already backing up. They're already kiting, so naturally going to be able to kite up that second ultimate. Jellyfish popping White Fox ultimate on the objective all the while. Well, there's going to be so many ultimates utilized at the same time. And unfortunately, Kai is going to pop the Cloak and Dagger ult, but you know, nobody left alive to be able to actually utilize it. Nobody left alive to actually use and stay on the objective, and now it's going to be another fight win for Crowder College. And again, with how fast this payload is moving and how many bodies had already fallen on those Brazosport, I don't know if they're going to be able to recontest.
I don't think they're even going to try for it at this point, with the fact they're already down half their team. Not even worth making the attempt.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a bit time to stop
Man,
them.
this is a tough spot, a really tough spot for Brazosport. I mean, they're really starting to lose momentum. Pendulum definitely swinging in favor of Crowder, and you know, with Parker just cleaning up the last few stragglers as well. They're just even longer of a stagger, longer of a wait before they can re-enter back onto the point. Bowser going over to Squirrel Girl as well.
Getting that cheeky damage off, and see if we can get those picks before the fight even begins here. There it is. Martian, as mentioned, overextend a little bit again, or not watching where the squirrel's nuts were going. But at the same time, Cold Ramen dies, and here comes the Moon Knight ult. But Moon Knight dies to get it off. No elims from it, but these guys is currently holding the point. Well, they were holding the point in place.
See, and that's one of those things, like we've got to use ultimates to actually stop this bleeding a bit. You know, Xavier been holding on to his ultimate for a long time. Cold Ramen falls again. The amount of damage you can output with Hela makes things way difficult. Bowser again just equalizing the fight though. Make it 2 and make it a 3rd. He wants more. He's still hungry. And that's what we've been missing for this whole series. Bowser was kind of lighting things up the first map. Started taking things a little bit slower, trying to play a little bit more defensively heavy, focused on that Jeff. But now that, Kay and Coops came in, I feel like now he can kind of, let his hair down and start to play a little bit more loose. And Marsh, again, playing the Mystery Heroes, playing another character. First time we're going to be seeing it in this series as well. The Human Torch comes out.
You don't see Human Torch very often anymore. It's sad to say.
He's always been like solid, but never like top tier. So it's hard to see it all too often. White
He
Fox.
just doesn't seem to have many mains either. The White Fox ult's coming out from Crowder. BC Gators holding off and surviving against it.
Yikes.
I take it back. BC Gators down 3 in this fight here. See if they can recoup and reset. They do still have one more fight potentially if they rush out of spawn here with some ults. Gonna get a lot of ults here.
Oh no, and the stagger's coming out, and Kay getting really low as well, not gonna be able to go to a point contest. Bowser, their only hope, immediately falls, but luckily Xavier is gonna be able to duplicate the White Fox, able to help stagger on the point as long as they can, and with the assistance of Hammerlord, maybe able to turn things around. This is a big pick, and you can see Jellyfish getting really low, as well as Parker in the back line, just trying to deal with his Neymar, but to no avail. And surprisingly, they hold this objective with like I think it said like 0.5 meters left before that payload actually, completed its route.
Doesn't matter if it's 0.5 or 0.001. As long as it's before the 3rd point, that's all that matters at this point for BC Gators.
Yeah, it turns into a win condition, right? As long as you stop this payload, it is still winnable. Martian again. I feel like it's one of those things that Martian he plays a very high risk, high reward playstyle. He likes to play really aggressive, and it's been paying off for a few times throughout the series, but occasionally will overstep their boundaries and will get caught out of position. And Martian does have a Human Torch ult when they come back, but how are they going to be able to deal with the Squirrel Stampede? Bowser been holding on to a pick after pick. Teleport into the backline. And we're going to pop the Human Torch ult onto K. K is not going to be able to survive. Squirrel Stampede comes out. Coob gets rid of the Human Torch. But again, it's an even trade in favor of Brazosport. They're really close to their spawn doors. They do not mind taking trades in their favor. Bowser, again, finding the picks that they need to. Gets rid of one, and you know he's looking for more. He's still hungry, and you got to watch out. This dude can hit his shots.
Parker's low at the up on high, and they see they can select. This is last fight right now into overtime. BCK just need to win this fight, and they prevent the 3-point here. They're gonna have to contest with this White Fox ult, but looks like they might be able to kill the White Fox. That's
big damage.
That is a trade, unfortunately, and BC Gators take out White Fox. That will be the fight over. Just Parker left. Just need to burn that last overtime time. Team Magneto does not get the last second touch. That is going to be BC Gators stopping at 0.5 before the third point there. 0.5 meters before the third point there. The BC Gators switch over to attack now, and we'll see what they can pull off here.
I mean, what a turnaround. Again, I hate having to, pinpoint one person, but look who's been asleep the whole series. After, I mean, a very dominant first map from Bowser, kind of took things a little bit slower, and all of a sudden now really starting to pump up the offense. I mean, a ton of single-handed elims on the side of Bowser. And you can see that's why he's got the ace tag by his name. I'm not just crazy. I promise you, it's making a big difference for their team. He's got to keep that going for the remainder of this map. Sure, it's a win condition, but it's not guaranteed. He's still got to cap it, essentially the full map, right? Because it was stopped only 0.5 meters short of the actual cap. That is still a long ways to go. So if you can still get stopped full hold, you can still, run into some tough times. So we're going to have to see if Crowder has an answer for Bowser now that he's, had his second resurrection.
It will definitely be an uphill battle for BC Gators, but is now a winnable battle at least.
Wait, quick question. You don't eat squirrel.
I don't think we're going to see Black Panther come out from Coob, but then again, apparently we're just all playing all sorts of different characters, because now we're seeing the Iron Man from Crowder. We're seeing Marsh back onto the Squirrel Girl, inspired by Bowser. But do they have the hit scan that can take care of this flying pest that is the Iron Man? He's hunting. He you know what? I don't need his skin. I can just go and chop him up my hands. And they've already made a ton of space. They've already got the corner. Bowser already getting the pick off, but all the while Ramen does fall, but any little payload progress is better than nothing. Immediately dive on the White Fox. Not able to find the picks quite yet, but again, the bubbles do help circumvent a lot of that damage. And Coop still playing a nuisance in the backline, still just trying to hunt people down. And I think with no bubble in sight, I don't know if they're going to be able to survive that time. But luckily, the skill check from Jellyfish able to take care of the Black Panther in the backline. So no picks quite yet from Brazosport, but just when I say that, they've got potentially Bowser loading up the Squirrel Girl.
See, BCK, just even though the team fight is staying pretty even here, BCK is still continuing to just push the payload. They've already gotten around that second turn there within sight of first point. Play a little carefully here. Bowser, they are down Bowser with the Squirrel Girl, so they are down a bunch of damage. You be careful with this. Here comes Bowser back into the fight again. Now is their time to re-engage. And we should be getting ults here pretty soon. I know Bowser's already got an ult. See if he's going to pop it early. Most likely. There it comes. That's the pick off on Martian.
They do pop Invisible Woman ult, but I mean, the damage already been done. They got the one pick that they needed, so they're just going to kite out the ultimate, just wait it out, and then go right back into the fight. And with Kay having access to the Jeff ultimate as well makes things a little bit easier, but not too easy. Of course, getting rid of Bowser, a big bulk of their damage completely gone. And now when Emma Frost falls as well, makes things even tougher to survive the onslaught damage. Still commits the ultimate, only getting access to the Magneto. And yeah, winds up getting chunked down, so not able to actually make it to the edge in time. And look at the amount of ultimates that we have at our disposal for Crowder. We've got essentially five ultimates at their wayside to stop this payload.
This is definitely going to be a tough next fight here. BC Gators going to have to be working around trying to pull those ults out, build their own ults. And they still have a minute and a half left, so they have the time.
Oh, the duplicate comes out. but he still winds up getting caught up. Marsh going over to the Winter Soldier, and here we go, just duplicated up. You know, Coob does get rid of Martian, but again, the damage has already been done. No payload progress again for Brazosport. They're gonna just try to hang close to it, make sure he doesn't move anywhere further backwards. But now down to the final minute for Brazosport. Gotta find a way to turn this corner, find a way to get the picks. And with Royal still building up towards an ultimate for Iron Man, this is gonna be a big slam. Ooh, unless Coob just completely one-checks him. Nice accuracy, let's go.
That is the early pick for BC Gators here, seeing if they can finish off this fight now. Have the Invisible Woman ult once again.
Wow, Martian immediately two-tapping Bowser in the corner, and Coob just trying to survive as long as they can, and with the assistance of the Jellyfish White Fox ultimate, not gonna be able to survive for too much longer. Hammer, I don't know how he's surviving this. This is crazy. He's getting chopped up and still, okay, not gonna be able to survive for too much longer. Murphy getting rid of him, getting back on the reset, and once again, payload being stopped, and with 20 seconds left, they need to find a reset right now. Ramen cannot fall.
Hammerlord switching over to the Venom for that quick retouch. Being able to contest here. Directly onto point here. Immediately diving the backline, trying to get that damage off on the Invisible Woman. But he is going to suffer. Gets White Fox out early start of the fight. This is BC Gators' time to engage.
Okay. All the while, of course, popping. Magneto ultimate, not gonna be able to find anything. Coob does get a pick to try to equalize the score. No Iron Man ultimate either. Cloak and Dagger pops ult on sight. And Aiza Agamotto doesn't get anything, completely whipped. Xavier still has access to duplicate if they want to try to use it. Want to try to utilize Hammerlord building up to a Venom ultimate as well. And again, this is playoff life on the line. So if Brazosport lose this fight, it is going to be all over for them. Shield going in his face, able to block it out just in the meantime. But Coob still getting rid of the targets on the objective. And their playoff contention still survives. Unreal.
That should be the first point for BC Gators here. Although there aren't overtimes, it is going to be a short time for the second push here. It's down to 2.5 minutes. See if they can finish this second point now.
Okay, they only get that additional 2.5 minutes into the time bank to cap the second point. Crowder's been doing really, really well, but again, you know, if we go based off history, this point in particular, a lot harder to try to hold off. You saw Crowder have very little difficulty to actually cap this second objective when they were on the attacking side. Sure, they got wiped a couple times here in the choke, but once they got a couple ultimates, it made things a little bit easier. And Marsh popping an early ultimate, and all the while, I mean, we're still coming back from spawn. Coob getting rid of Marsh, and now Bowser going over to the Daredevil.
In many ways, Daredevil is very similar to how Bowser treats his Wolverine. Hyper aggressive, in your face. What the team needs in these kind of situations to deal with those support backlines.
Okay. Oh, and there we go, straight to the backline, straight to the heart. Jellyfish popping White Fox ultimate once again. And with the assistance of course, cleans up a pretty quick target. Moon Knight ult potentially on point as well with the Eye of Agamotto. Invisible Woman ult being utilized, just trying to make sure everybody stays alive, everybody stays nice and healthy. Xavier.
Seen lots of ults come like Xavier popping his ult as Loki copying the White Fox to help with that team fight. We have Crowder popping 3 or 4 ults during that fight. Awesome, here comes the Moon Knight ult out. BC Gators getting pushed off the point, down to 1 minute remaining.
Okay, if I'm Brazosport, I don't mind that, because you know what? That was a lot of ultimates. I do mind if we wind up losing Ramen here. It's unfortunate. But hey, you know, this is a great turnaround, because now we have a couple ultimates ourselves to be able to close this fight out. We got to make it quick, though. I think a lot of these staggered fights, you know, eat up at the time bank, but then also just build up a lot of ultimate charge towards Crowder. I mean, unless Bowser can kind of find a quick pick with the Squirrel Girl, all we're doing is just pumping up the amount of ult charge that Murphy and Jellyfish can build up towards. Okay, final 15 seconds. Again, Squirrel Stampede does come out early from Marsh, trying to find some sort of success. Moon Knight ult on the objective! Gets rid of course. The trades do come out. Oh, and they're going to be able to take care of Parker, so no more Vanguards on the side of Crowder. Now it's going to be a quick team wipe for Coob if he can just clean up these last few stragglers. We should be able to see
There.
the second objective cap on through.
There it is. There's still one person on point. Don't know who it is. Oh, it's Invisible Woman, I think. Yeah. That's
So you can't
fine,
see her,
though.
bro.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to be able to get the teleport out in just the nick of time. They're pretty far behind the point. Now it's like flip-flopping. Who's on attack? Who's on defense? Wagamoto getting 2. Coob does fall. Xavier not able to build up to his ultimate in time. Venom ultimate on the objective. But is it too late? Parker able to get the huge recontest for their team. They slam it down, but there's so much damage, so many bodies on the objective. It's looking very unlikely you're going to be able to turn this around. Bowser's going to have to come in clutch. They're going to have to just hold it out for the time being till we get the stampede.
See how long Hamlock can survive here. It's going to come down to his survival. The longer, the better. But it looks like it's over for him. And Bowser does not get the touch in time. You hate to see it. That will be 3-1 in Crowder's favor.
Again, it's a tough road out here when it comes to single elimination. Comes down to the wire. Comes down to a single performance. And, you know, Brazosport starting to get a little bit of footing, but unfortunately, they ran into the brick wall that was Crowder. Just made things way harder than it needed to be. Impossible to kind of get those bodies off the objective. And what good patience from Crowder. I mean, they didn't do anything too flashy. All they did was just milk out the clock. I mean, you could see it with the amount of damage they were able to mitigate, the amount of healing output as well. Just made things a little bit harder to go into. And when you slow things down enough like that, you can build up a ton of ultimates.
And then just learn to cycle them properly, especially on defense on maps like these are vital, as Crowder did a lot there. If you ult dump in one fight, now you're going to have to try to deal with an ult dump in retaliation. All it takes is one last team fight to lose an entire point. So.
All right, but with that being said, unfortunately, Brazosport's run in the playoffs does end today. Crowder still successful, still moving on. Looking like a pretty strong team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the favorites to actually walk away with the actual title itself.
Exactly. And with that, I think that'll be the end of our stream too. It's been nice to have all of you, and I hope you all have a good day, and we'll see you guys later. I believe we have another stream this Wednesday for the Overwatch playoff match as well, also in the NJCAAE tournament. So have a good one all, and see you later.